How did your family's genetics do you dirty? Story 1. Incredibly bad teeth. My wisdom teeth were the worst. They fell apart as soon as they came out. The nerves, on the other hand, worked perfectly. The pain was excruciating. Story 2. My family gave me the metabolism of a sloth, the hairline of a stressed potato, and the eyesight of a pirate squinting into fog. Basically, I'm 70 lasagna, 30 disappointment, and somehow still allergic to grass. Thanks, ancestors. Really nailed it. Story 3. No male in my family, both paternal and maternal, has made it past 65. All of them, every single one, has died of cancer. I just turned 50 this year, and I take far better care of myself than any of them, but it is likely just a matter of time. Story 4. I had such bad allergies, but turns out I just had a really up nose. I got surgery last September, and holy, have you guys been smelling smells this entire time. Story 5. Dad's half are massive drinkers. Mum's side has massive depression. Yay for me. Edit. This isn't my direct parents, just family. This is more tongue-in-cheek. I enjoy a few beers and am okay. Story 6. My dad once lovingly said to me, "You belly flopped into the shallow end of the gene pool," a bold statement considering more than half of these characteristics came from his side. Story 7. I unfortunately inherited my father's overactive sweat glands. My kneecaps get the sweatiest, and will look like I jumped into a pool after a 1-mile run. Story 8. Plenty of mental health issues, all from my mom's side of the family. My great-aunt has schizophrenia. My uncle had bipolar and addiction issues that led to a nasty criminal record before he died. My cousin, his son, has OCD, and I'm 99% sure that my other cousin, his sister, is an actual psychopath, or at the very least a horrible person who takes joy in the suffering of others. As for me, I've got Asperger's, bipolar, and severe anxiety, with social anxiety being the main issue on the anxiety front. Surprisingly, my mom and her dad, my granddad, were skipped, but from what I know, everyone else has had some kind of bad mental issues, including my granddad's brother. Story 9. I got, with a chainsaw, anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, type 2 blood clotting disorder, migraines, epilepsy, ankylosing spondylitis, IBS, hypotension, horrible teeth, asthma, all from my parents and grandparents. Story 10. Still getting acne breakouts at 25, just because I touched my face at some point during the week. Others can dip their face in mud and will be fine. When is this puberty going to end? Not that it matters, because my face is already scarred for life. Story 11. My mom is autistic and my dad has ADHD and OCD. I'm autistic with ADHD, severe depression, anxiety, and currently getting assessed for bipolar. Every day is a battle. Story 12. Had a kid who was born deaf. Turns out my wife and I both carry the same rare recessive gene that leads to Usher syndrome. It causes one to be born deaf and lose their peripheral vision during their childhood. Story 13. I'm allergic to everything that grows outside thanks to my dad, and I have everyone's arthritis burden. I got arthritis so you don't have to, not to mention my grandma's hips. Sigh, my mom called me thunder thighs when I was a size 5. Story 14. Nature dramatically trumps nurture. I thought I escaped a life full of ADHD, OCD, and spectrum, only to give birth to it. Also, addiction is a cruel master. I lived with these people growing up, tried like to give my spawn a great life, only for them to have the same issues. Nature points at me and laughs, for thinking I could do better. Story 15. I got hyperhidrosis, excessive sweat, from my dad. My teenage years were because I could not wear clothes without having the largest pit stains. I became a goth so that my clothes wouldn't seem so obviously what I wore black all day every day. Finally had surgery to fix this when I was 17. Changed my life. Story 16. I got a fun combination of migraines, Ehlers-Danlos, neurodiversity, and 10 wisdom teeth. Now that I'm in my 50s, I'm finally able to get work done to fix the crappy extractions and problems left by the last dentist. At least getting things repaired has brought down the number of migraines. I don't feel gross smiling now either, now that crowns and veneers were installed to remove all the cracked enamel. Was hoping to get a diagnosis of autism, ADHD, or both this year, but I don't want to end up on any lists. Story 17. Crippling ADHD, bipolar runs in the men. Both sides have thyroid issues, factor 5, chronic cold sores, and autoimmune disorders. I got shingles or a form of it when I was 910 due to my immune system. Severe acne, body acne throughout puberty, crooked teeth, needed braces, headgear, springs, and bands. I'm not having children, BTW. Story 18. My dad gave me his weight issues. My mom gave me her depression, anxiety, and thin hair. Oh, and small. I've thankfully scrapped by without developing my dad's addiction issues, to knock on. Though I will say, with the bad, I've also gotten some good. I have my dad's adventurous spirit and motivation to thrive in life, while also having my mom's good-hearted nature. Story 19. Mental illness, diabetes, heart disease, bad teeth, not very tall stomach issues, and worst of all, very, very ugly, also short lifespan, but all things considered that might actually be a blessing considering how much my life sucks. Sigh. Story 20. Half white, quarter black, quarter Mexican, excessive body hair, head hair takes a literal hour to comb out, and I still can't walk into a store without being branded a shoplifter. Story 21. There's a reason I have an amazing beard and never shave it off, and it's not because I look great with a beard even though I do. It's because of the genetic gift my mom gave me, a double chin that I am massively self-conscious about. Story 22. I am diagnosed, by professionals, with autism, generalized anxiety disorder, ADHD, OCD, treatment-resistant depression, severe dyslexia, severe dysgraphia, familial hypercholesterolemia, genetic predisposition towards diabetes. Type 2 congenital spinal stenosis. Both parents also had to have fusions pretty early on. That's mostly it. My siblings all fall along the same line, but to varying degrees. Story 23. Dyspraxia, ADHD, a nonverbal learning disability, sickle cell anemia carrier, which means my kids might have it, asthma, astigmatism, peanut allergy, ugly. Story 24. Depression, canadiac. At this point, my entire family has it, and they can take medication for it. Medication makes me sick unless it's my allergy and asthma meds. Oh, and really shitty migraines too. Story 25. Thick Irish blood, high blood pressure at 42, stents at 57, brother died at 42 of a heart attack, mom had congestive heart failure, she did live to 87, but had a stroke at 80, four-way bypass at 75, my dad had high BP, had a four-way bypass at 56, he lived to 88, died of cancer. Without all the medications for high cholesterol and high BP, I don't think my parents would have lived that long. I'm 65, on 3 meds for high BP and cholesterol. Story 26. Body type and metabolism. Growing up, I was slim and athletic and never seemed to gain weight, like nearly everybody on my mom's side of the family. All the women are petite as in stay that way as they age. I mean, mom was a cheerleader, and kept her looks and figure all her life. I hoped I would be like her, but as I got older, no matter how much I tried to watch my weight, I began to get rounder and dumpier, like the women on my dad's side. They are all short and thick and continue to get thicker, in beginning to look like my paternal grandma and all my aunts and cousins on dad's side. I think genetics has doomed me. Story 27. Increased risk of heart attack and stroke because of some hereditary blood pressure problems. My maternal grandfather had a heart attack, and my old man is on blood pressure pills, ADHD as well. Story 28. 100 chance to be diabetic. Every single uncle and auntie from both parents and both parents are all diabetic. There's more, but I don't want to bother trying to remember my entire medical history. Story 29. I inherited alcoholism, addiction, depression, body dysmorphia disorder, and a host of other non-visible problems. But I am tall and lean now and fairly good looking, so I guess that's all that really matters. Story 30. I have acne scars because of my dad, mental health as well. Dad's family is not the brightest bunch and my grandmother has histrionic disorder. The rest of my mom's family has massive anxiety. It's generational. I developed the following: adjustment disorder, depression, generalized anxiety, and DPDR. Yay. Story 31. I'm the only one of my siblings for who has to wear glasses. Started losing hair at 17 and got attacked by one of the worst cases of acne ever seen, leaving my face scarred. Also, I'm genetically inclined to testicular torsion. Luckily for my bothers, they didn't have to find out like I did. Plus, you know that all people got 5 senses. I don't, I can't smell. Story 32. My entire family has lived into their 90s, except for my parents, non-smokers and non-drinkers, who died of different cancers at 51 and 55 years old. I'm 60. My younger sister is a cancer survivor, and while currently healthy, I'm terrified. I've treated my body worse than any of them. Story 33. I am slightly short-sighted. My teeth are slightly misaligned and my ribcage is flared. My father is far-sighted and his side has a record of decently straight teeth. Story 34. Being tall, but it's all in your torso. I'm not crazy tall. I'm 63, but since everything is made for people 6 inches shorter than you and are ADA accessible, every countertop is just too short for you to work on. My back is always hurting since I'm always hunched over to do anything at work. I don't fit in cars properly without having my head either tilted to the side or hunched over like Mr. Incredible in his shitbox truck. Rear view mirrors are exactly where a car would appear to the right side of an intersection. I've almost had an accident several times because I didn't see the car coming from behind the mirror. Also, the constant headbanging when someone set the seat higher than the lowest setting and you didn't expect it. I've hit my fingers in my ceiling fan when dressing more times than I can count. Ouchie. Also, I have zero, so pants slide right off if I'm not cutting off blood supply with my belt. Anyway, rant over. Still thankful I have arms, legs, eyes, ears, etc. Story 35. Apparently, I have my grandfather to thank for the fact that I'm 30 and already going gray. Having a high-stress job probably didn't help, but I'm more gray than my boss who is a decade older than me. Story 36. Based on recent family medical history on both sides, if I don't die of a heart attack in my 60s, and don't die of cancer in my 70s, I'll probably end up with Alzheimer's in my 80s. Story 37. Family has a history of diabetes, heart disease, Crohn's and autism. At 40 I have autism and Crohn's, but every male on my mother's side of the family was bald before 20, and I still have a full head of hair, despite the medication I take, including recently infusions saying hair loss is a side effect. I am still beating it. Story 38. Scoliosis, several autoimmune issues, hypermobility that my physical therapist thinks is EDS, ADHD, addictive personality, unstable mood, just the works. Autism isn't quite losing the genetic lottery, but it's definitely had its problems, plus I got a boatload of trauma to make all of those traits worse. Lost the genetic lottery, and didn't even get a stable home life to make up for it. Story 39. My family is pretty tall on my dad's side and pretty tiny on my mom's side. Basically, Both my younger siblings were taller than me growing up, and genetics hit me so bad that I was at the doctor various times in my childhood because I stopped growing at age 15. My mom is 51, or 156 meters, and I am a good chunk below that, for centimeters over dwarfism. My siblings are 59, or 180 meters. It's hard to get taken seriously most of the times. Story 40 predispositions to mood disorders, fibromyalgia, obesity, diabetes, skin cancer, and possibly ankylosing spondylitis. Most struck before I hit 25, though I'm 41 and the diabetes is still in the pre-state, and am still cancer-free. That said, both my parents were smarter than the average and I got that too. So I got that going for me, which is pretty good. Story 41 rheumatoid arthritis. I used to I loved TO draw when I was a kid, paint war gaming minis, writing, all of those taken away. But thank God for computers, so I can at least write via typing, otherwise that too would be gone. Bipolar disorder, autism, dyslexia, I could go on. I've also got the whole party mix of mental health issues. I will never have kids, ever, never ever. Story 42 So almost everyone in my family is average to tall for the New England area as far as height goes. My mom is 57, dad is 511, brother is 60. All my uncles and male cousins range from 511 to 63, while my aunts, mom's mom and female cousins are right between 56 and 58. This is including both my mom and dad's side BTW. Then there is me at 53, like my dad's mom, who was like 411 when she passed. Story 43 My face. Oh, and I have a genetic condition called neurofibromatosis. I have a lot of fibromas on my skin, all over my body. People who are trying to be mean and don't know what it is will say a lot of nasty things about it. Story 44 All three of my mom's sisters, and countless other relatives of my mom have died due to drug addiction. So, that's in my DNA. Schizophrenia, psychotic tendencies also run through that side of the family, as well as ADHD. Since I was 17-18, I haven't been able to smoke the most minuscule amount of weed without entering a sort of psychosis. Embarrassing LMAO. As an adult, after a bit of research, I basically concluded I have my genes to thank for that. Story 45 It seems I only inherited genes from my dad's side of the family. He was overweight, short, bald, and had a large nose and round face. I put on a pound if I eat a single piece of candy. I'm short, have very thin hair, my father's big nose, and his round face. My mom was a beauty who never lacked for male attention. I inherited only her brown eyes. No one has ever complimented me on my looks. Story 46 I, like my mom, grind my teeth and have awful tension headaches. Unlike my mom, I get them daily and cannot function without a form of headache relief medicine. Story 47 Yes, so I got great skin, lovely hourglass body, lovely hair, great and all that physically. Mental basket case though, bipolar and alcoholism on my mother's side, ADHD and autism for my dad, and probably also my mother's side. I've also got a great body, but have no idea how to dress it up to look great. So far I've developed all known inheritable medical conditions in my family, on both sides. Slow metabolism, obesity, PCOS, hypothyroidism, ADHD, bipolar, even GERD and flat feet. That's just to name a couple. How I managed to get every single one of the chronic conditions. Shit's genuinely crazy. Story 48 I am hot as, but autistic, so I literally can't flirt to save my life, and I also can't tell when other people are flirting with me. I'm too awkward to get pretty privilege most of the time. Other people tell me I am hot. I don't see it, but I guess I have a nice body and a good-looking face. Story 49 1 Receding hairline at 15. 2 Not well endowed down there. 3 Dark skin, not being racist. This is just my personal preference. 4 Receded chin and huge jawbone. I really wanted a heart-shaped face. 5 Socially awkward, took after my weird mom. 6 Addiction to eating, making me overweight for more than a decade. Almost all of the men in my family suffer from this. Story 50 Addiction, alcoholism, drug abuse. People, still standing strong, but no, it's in my genes. It sucks when you don't ask for it, but it's in your blood. Story 51 Mom had a big nose, dad sinus problems and debilitating sinus headaches and infections. Thanks guys, I really needed to inhale everything that could exacerbate sinus problems. Story 52 I got the biggest bust in my entire family. Thanks dad's DNA, definitely didn't get them from my mom. Nothing fits right. It's always a chore to find an affordable bra that fits, and I can't ever borrow any family members' clothes because at their biggest, there are 8 cups smaller than mine. I can't even fit into any of my male family members' cloths because they are all smaller than me. My shoulders, upper back, and neck are being destroyed by their weight. It feels like electrified lances of broken glass are slowly being shoved between the joints and bones and arms, and at times I can't even lift my arms without executing pain. Yeah, big. Story 53 Vascular Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, autism, and ADHD. I had my first full joint dislocation at 13 months old and they just never stopped. I have dislocated almost every single joint in my body at this point besides my spine. I'm also looking at heart surgery to repair or possibly replace my mitral valve in my mid-30s. My grandma had her first heart surgery at 47 and had multiple joint dislocations throughout her life. She was also definitely autistic, but not diagnosed. My mom has no heart issues at 68 besides POTS, but does have mild joint issues. She hasn't had genetic testing. We would have to travel 4 hours to have her diagnosed by the only geneticist in our area that also diagnosed me back in 2010, but but I'm sure she probably has EDS as well. She tried getting an autism and ADHD diagnosis last year, but they said she was too old to be autistic even though she ticks all the boxes for an official diagnosis in the DSMV, and gave her the ADHD diagnosis so she could start meds for it. Story 54 Bad eyes, macular degeneration, glaucoma and extreme nearsightedness. I have nearsightedness and the pressure in my eyes always was on the high side. Story 55 Oh dear God, where do I start? My parents' family guarantees I have at the very least heart problems by 40 or diabetes. Both sides of the family has diabetes. My maternal grandmother had a stroke and has heart problems. My maternal grandfather died of cancer. My maternal great-aunt has diabetes. My maternal second cousin died of cancer. My paternal grandfather died of cancer. My paternal grandmother died of multiple organ failure due to cancer. My father had a stroke. And that's just the physical aspects. Both sides have all kinds of mental illnesses. And I've inherited a lot of those as is, so it's only a matter of time before I follow in my grandparents' footsteps and die of cancer as well. Some of these lovelies include anxiety, depression, bipolar, and addiction problems that I don't know the core root of because I'm scared to ask for details for fear of being nosy. Story 56 SCA6 Very rare genetic disability doesn't hit until you're 40 to 50. I have gone from walking in 6 heels and teaching my daughter's cartwheels to using a walking stick in 1 year. Story 57 Rosacea. I've had issues with acne since I was a teen and it has never ended, and I'm turning 30 this year. I also have a lot of red pigment because of the rosacea, so we'll be lucky if I see a day in my life when my skin is actually clear. Story 58 For the ones that kinda don't matter. Every man on my mom's side is over 6 feet with thick full beards. Every man on my dad's side is over 6 feet with thick full beards. I am 59 and I've been growing the same 10 mustache hairs for 14 years. I don't have any body hair. I have literally like 6 armpit hairs. Been like that since forever. I've accepted the fact that I'll probably never have a luscious mountain man beard. On the ones that actually matter: alcoholism, addictive personality, diabetes, cancer, and mental illness paired with southern toxic masculinity. Just bury those feelings deep down and never speak about them until you get drunk and snap is the family motto. I've always compared our family to backyard pit bulls. We're some good athletes and some hard workers labor-wise, but will inevitably be born with health issues and mental disposition to bite the hand that feeds us. Story 59 My junk is around 4 inches fully erect on a good day. Flaccid is microscopic. Never been with a woman. Honestly don't see myself in a situation where a woman accepts me because of it. Story 60 Basically all the other men in my family have bad backs. I turn my head funny and I can throw my back out. Just like my dad, brothers, cousins, uncles and grandpa. Getting old sucks. Story 61 ADHD, poor metabolism, depression, anxiety, PCOS, endometriosis, bad teeth, heart disease risk, and to top it all off, breast cancer risk that has historically skipped every other generation. Last family member to have it was my great-aunt. Story 62 Heart attacks with nearly everyone on my dad's side and strokes on my mom's. I'm a ticking time bomb. Also intelligence, I'd rather be dumb. They seem so much happier. Story 63 My dad's straight brown hair but with the wiriness of my mom's curly black hair. My hair is as bouncy and manageable as an old school shaving brush. If I wear a Kennet hat in winter for more than 5 minutes my hair stands crazily up for the rest of the entire day. Story 64 Almost got breast cancer at 29 while pregnant with my second son at the same time my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer at the ripe age of 56. It doesn't even run in our family, but maybe it's a recessive gene. I had to pay $2,000 to get tested for the breast cancer gene. Story 65 Well, I have premature ovarian failure and I have ADHD ASD, and am at risk for other disorders, all literally due to a single partial gene mutation. I also have an autoimmune disease which is strongly correlated with genetics. Story 66 Allergies and mental illness. While they also don't believe in mental illness, so I've been navigating this myself for 30 years, at least I'm finally getting medicated. Story 67 Blood pressure issues, diabetes issues, cholesterol issues, all genetic. Grateful for our medical system my doctor is on top of it and ahead of it, as am I thanks to her. Story 68 I'm a mixed colorblindness that is essentially monochromatic. Tons of family on both sides have different levels of being colorblind, but I'm a step further. Luckily I don't have to wear sunglasses outside all of the time like most monochromatic people.